The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council stretched before Ambassador Lyra like a crystalline cathedral, its walls shimmering with the ethereal light that her elven ancestors had perfected millennia ago. Representatives from dozens of species filled the tiered seating, their varied forms creating a tapestry of galactic diversity. At the center of it all, the Zephyrian delegate held court with her usual commanding presence. Lyra had seen many impressive beings during her tenure as Earth's representative, but Vera of the Zephyrian Empire remained uniquely captivating. Standing nearly 8 feet tall, her skin possessed an opalescent quality that shifted between deep blue and silver depending on the angle of light. 4 arms moved with practiced grace as she gestured during her speech about trade route security, while her large, luminous eyes surveyed the assembly with calculating intelligence. The human guard stationed near the main entrance caught Lyra's attention briefly. Captain Rebecca Stone stood at attention in her crisp uniform, her brown hair pulled back in regulation style. Unlike the ornate ceremonial guards of other species, Rebecca's equipment was purely functional, a testament to human practicality that had earned grudging respect throughout the galaxy. The proposed shipping lanes through the Andorian Nebula, Vera continued, her voice carrying easily through the hall's advanced acoustics, would reduce transit times by 37% while maintaining adequate safety margins for all participating species. Lyra nodded along with the presentation, though her attention kept drifting to subtle details others might miss. As an elf, her enhanced senses picked up nuances that escaped most beings. Vera's usual confident posture seemed slightly strained today, and there was a barely perceptible tremor in her secondary arms. The Zephyrian delegate paused mid-sentence, her large eyes blinking rapidly. For a moment, she swayed almost imperceptibly before catching herself against the podium. The movement was so subtle that most representatives continued reviewing their data tablets, unaware anything had changed. But Lyra noticed. More importantly, she saw Rebecca's head turn sharply toward the podium, the human guard's expression shifting from passive attention to focused concern. As I was saying, Vera resumed, though her voice lacked its earlier strength, the economic benefits would be substantial for all member worlds. Another pause. This time, longer. Vera's primary hands gripped the podium edge, while her secondary arms hung limp at her sides. The opalescent skin that usually shifted through beautiful color variations had locked into a pale silver tone. Then it happened. Vera collapsed. The massive Zephyrian delegate crumpled behind the podium with a sound that echoed through the suddenly silent hall. Representatives leaped to their feet, some calling out in their native languages, others rushing toward the platform. The assembly erupted into controlled chaos as species-specific medical teams activated their emergency protocols. Through it all, Lyra watched Rebecca move. The human guard didn't run toward the fallen delegate like the others. Instead, she remained perfectly still for exactly 3 seconds, her head tilted slightly as if listening to something only she could hear. Then she spoke into her communication device, not the standard emergency frequency that other guards were already flooding with status reports, but a different channel entirely. Environmental systems. This is Stone. I need immediate atmospheric readings for the assembly hall, specifically trace gas analysis focused on Zephyrian respiratory requirements. Lyra's elven hearing picked up the response through Rebecca's earpiece. Stone, we're showing normal readings across all standard... Not standard readings, Rebecca interrupted, moving now with purposeful strides toward the platform. Zephyrian, lungs process nitrogen differently than most species. They need trace amounts of xenon gas that we supplement through the environmental systems. Check xenon levels specifically. The elven ambassador felt a chill of understanding. While medical teams swarmed around Vera's unconscious form, checking for everything from poison to heart failure, the human guard had identified something far more subtle and potentially more dangerous. Captain Stone, Lyra called out, intercepting the guard as she reached the platform's base. You suspect environmental sabotage. Rebecca's expression remained professionally neutral, but Lyra caught the slight tightening around her eyes. Ambassador, with respect, you should evacuate with the other representatives. If there's an atmospheric issue affecting Zephyrians specifically, there could be other targeted attacks, Lyra finished. She glanced around the hall, noting which species shared similar respiratory requirements to Zephyrians. The Altarian delegate left 20 minutes ago citing fatigue. The Procyon representative has been unusually quiet today. Before Rebecca could respond, her communication device crackled to life. Stone, we found it. Xenon levels have dropped 47% in the past hour. It's gradual enough that our standard monitoring didn't flag it, but it would slowly suffocate any Zephyrian in the chamber. The implications hit both women simultaneously. This wasn't random system failure. It was a precisely calculated attack designed to eliminate specific species representatives while appearing completely natural. We need to evacuate affected species immediately, Lyra said, her diplomatic training taking over, but quietly, without causing panic that might trigger secondary attacks. Rebecca nodded, already coordinating with her team through hand signals. Can you identify which representatives might be at risk without alerting potential saboteurs? Lyra's mind raced through her knowledge of galactic physiology. Give me 60 seconds. As medical teams continued working on Vera, who was beginning to show signs of revival now that Rebecca had corrected the atmospheric issue, Lyra moved through the hall with practiced diplomatic grace. To casual observation, she was simply checking on concerned colleagues. In reality, she was identifying every representative whose species shared Zephyrian respiratory chemistry. 7 beings, scattered throughout the assembly, all showing varying degrees of the subtle fatigue that would have eventually led to collapse if the xenon depletion had continued. Within 10 minutes, Rebecca's security team had quietly escorted all at-risk representatives to medical facilities for routine health screenings. The cover story held, preventing panic while ensuring safety. Vera recovered fully, though she remained unaware of how close she had come to a much worse fate. The sabotage investigation would take weeks, but the immediate crisis had been averted by a human guard's attention to detail and an elf's diplomatic expertise. Later, as the assembly hall emptied and emergency protocols wound down, Lyra found Rebecca completing her incident report. Your species has an interesting reputation in galactic circles, the elf said. Humans are considered unremarkable by most standards, average physical capabilities, moderate lifespans, simple technology compared to many worlds. Rebecca looked up from her datapad. But humans notice things others miss. You see patterns in chaos, connections where others see coincidence. Today, while everyone else was treating symptoms, you identified the cause. The human guard shrugged. Just doing my job, Ambassador. Lyra smiled, understanding now why Earth's integration into galactic society had proceeded so smoothly despite humanity's relatively recent arrival among the stars. Humans might not possess the longest lives, the strongest bodies, or the most advanced technology, but they brought something equally valuable to the galactic community: the ability to see truth in complexity. Indeed, Captain. Just doing your job. As they left the hall together, neither woman fully realized that their actions had prevented not just one tragedy, but the first move in what would have been a systematic campaign to destabilize the Galactic Council itself. Sometimes the most important victories were the ones that prevented disasters no one else even knew were coming. The hall fell silent, its crystalline walls reflecting the dim emergency lighting as automated systems quietly restored proper atmospheric balance for tomorrow's session.